Why is the truth unwelcome in the church? And where is the truth welcome? I don't know anywhere where it's invited in. And you could say that in regard to two different matters. One being the reality of the biblical description of our cosmology, our earth and the heavens, and the understanding that the Bible, as in all things, is true, and that our world is described exactly as it is. This is an amazing truth, and it's easily provable, actually. Once the scales fall from our eyes, as it were, it can be easily proven. But when I went with that information to the previous King James Bible believing assembly, I was prevented from speaking. It was made clear to me that my thoughts on this matter were not to be shared. I endured that condition, in fairness, for about a year. I was learning about the Bible. It was interesting to me. But I will never forget it. Because when you bar the truth from the church, who are you really barring? Who are you really putting out of the building? And likewise in the church that I'm attending, where I took the King James Bible and paid with my own money to have 4 sessions of chats about the Bible. And they rented me a room to do it in, and nobody came. Well, 2 people came. A friend from the previous church who very kindly attended. It was just he and I, and we had lunch together, I think. It was nice. I wish him well if he ever hears this. It's a pity that he doesn't write back to me. I think it's his turn, but it might not be. I'll have to check. I think I might be a bit too weird for him. Some people, I don't know whether he was completely on board with the biblical cosmology. And really, to me, that's like an on-off switch. You either understand that or you don't, kind of thing. You can't think you might be. There's no room for might in something like that, surely. It's very important to know where you are. If we wish to be in close communion with the Lord Jesus Christ, then it is good that we should recognize his creation. And it makes his promises even more real in my mind. To know that the Father is seated alongside the Son. I think at this moment, some people would say that the Son has already returned. I don't know. There's an argument for it. And they say he would be currently sitting in the camp of the saints, perhaps. I don't know. There's a great and beautiful day of Jezreel on the horizon, I think. But of course I can't know. And it's a bit dangerous to make any kind of a prediction, isn't it? But I have hope in my heart, shall we say. that the good old way will soon be restored in the good old way, and we can be back to praising the Lord and to cleansing the land. Perhaps it will be cleansed for us, and wickedness will be removed from our midst. But wickedness resides throughout society in the form of secret organizations or secretive organizations. You don't just have to go, to London or New York or somewhere to find these things. They're in your local town. And there are there will be various secret organizations. They could range from a coven, and there will be a coven wherever you live. You could call it a witch's coven or something like that, or a satanic temple, maybe slightly different. Except that a satanic temple may be publicly displayed, I think. I'm not sure. Certainly a coven is secretive. And then the Freemasons, of course, who remain secret. And of course there will be some Christian Freemasons who are intent on doing good work and supporting the community. But everything is secret, you see. This is the problem. It's done to some extent beneath the veil of secrecy. So you can publish the fact that you've given ambulances or helicopters to emergency services. You've funded those things, and that's a Freemason activity. And then it will say on the side of the piece of equipment, donated by, or some Freemasonic reference of acknowledgement, at least, perhaps thanks. And then there are societies like the Odd Fellows and the Rotary Club and all sorts of local societies, some of which are, supposedly not really secret. But all of these groups will have inner circles. This is what happens. It's like you could say, well, the government isn't a secret society, but it's the inner circle that forms then. And then there's the inner circle also. This is the wickedness of the human heart, and what happens when we place our faith in men instead of in God. Because men are really fallen. They're not to be followed. I'm trying to remember the name now. I was reading in Kings of the prophet. Oh, it was a prophet to Asa, was it? Or to Jehoshaphat in Judah. No, he was a prophet to Jeroboam, I think. Oh, I forget now. But he was told that he couldn't stop on the way back. Do you remember? And he's intercepted by another prophet who persuades him instead to come back to his house and to take food. I don't know why he spoke falsely. I don't know why Satan took his tongue. It's subtle, isn't it? And why the Lord's prophet was thus persuaded. What happened? But he lost his life over it. It's a dangerous thing to follow men. As men, we stand below the throne of God. That's why we don't cover our head when we're praying. We really stand in a very privileged position indeed. And anybody who would, insert himself into that relationship, whether on a pulpit or, in a prominent position in a worldly organization, or perhaps a prophet of the New Age, a Terence McKenna, or an Alan Watts, or whoever you may care to listen to. Truth has been shared with many, but always tainted. That's the problem. Always enticing away. That's why really the Bible is what you need. And once you've got the Bible down, I think, then you can. But when will you have the Bible down? I mean, it's not really a book that lends itself to being in any way fully grasped. God bless today.